Hello everyone, today in this tutorial we'll see what is messaging queue and how it works and what are all the uses of messaging queue. And second thing we'll see is what is RabbitMQ and what are all the different exchange types in RabbitMQ, which is direct exchange, fan out exchange, topic exchange and header exchange. There is one more exchange called default exchanges. We'll see all this in upcoming slides. Now we'll see what is messaging queue and what are all its uses. So basically messaging queue is a kind of asynchronous service to service communication which is commonly used in microservice architectures. So before understanding asynchronous, we'll see what is synchronous. So consider you have two microservice 1 and microservice 2. So in synchronous communication, what happens is when a message is sent from microservice 1 to microservice 2, microservice 1 will wait for the response from microservice 2 before it sends another message to microservice 2. Basically what I am saying is microservice 1 waits for the message from microservice 2 or the response from the microservice 2 before it send another message to microservice 2. Basically there is a synchronous communication between microservice 1 and microservice 2. This is called synchronous. What is asynchronous? Asynchronous is exactly opposite to synchronous, which means microservice 1 will send message to microservice 2 and it will not wait for the response from microservice 2. It will keep on sending messages to microservice 2 irrespective of what microservice 2 sends response back to microservice 1. This is called asynchronous communication. So you can ask, so if microservice 1 keep on sending messages to microservice 2, what if the microservice 2 is down? What happens in that case? So in that case what happens, later sometime microservice 2 will send back the response saying that this message was not delivered to microservice 2 as the microservice 2 is down, which means not an ideal solution. What should happen is microservice 1 will be keep on sending to microservice 2. When the microservice 2 is down, the messages which was not sent to microservice 2 will be kept somewhere so that when the microservice 2 is back online, those messages will be sent to the microservice 2. So this concept is called, which is keeping those messages which are not delivered during the downtime of microservice 2 is called messaging queue, which means instead of microservice 1 sending directly to microservice 2, what it will do, it will send messages to a broker, a middleman, someone who is a keeper, who keeps track of all the messages and who takes the responsibility of delivering the messages to microservice 2 when the microservice 2 is back online. So basically microservice 1 will not wait for the response from the microservice 2. So it has delivered all its responsibility to a middleman, a broker or a messaging queue which will take care of delivering the messages to microservice 2. So microservice 1 need not have to wait or worry about what happens with the messages sent to microservice 2. So this middleman or broker concept is called messaging queue concept. Okay, as I said earlier, messages are stored in a queue until they are processed and deleted. Basically these messages will be stored in a queue. Once the microservice 2 is back online, those will be delivered in first in first out manner, which is queue. And the third thing is each message is processed only once by a single consumer. I'll explain you in detail all these points. So message queues can be used to decouple heavyweight processing. Basically what happens is here microservice 1 is decoupled with microservice 2. There is no direct communication between these two, so that the microservice 1 can be easily maintained and it is easily scalable, as well as the microservice 2, it can also be easily maintained and scalable. So this is one of the advantages of using messaging queue. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll see what was before messaging queue. See, left side is the sender, user 1, sender, and the right side is user 2, receiver. So what happens, user 1 sends messages to user 2. Now user 2 is online and he sends back the message to user 1 saying that I have read your message. Okay, this is a happy flow. We'll consider when the user 2 is offline. User 1 sends messages to user 2, then user 2 is offline, then the user 1 will get back the response saying delivery failure. So basically this is not the proper solution, right? Because whatever the messages sent from user 1 to user 2 should be delivered when the user 2 is back online. So to achieve that, the messaging queue was introduced. So basically what happens, the middleman, what you're seeing is a messaging queue. I'll explain you in detail what is exchange and how the queue works. As of now, consider only the queue. So what happens, we'll consider the same scenario, happy flow, and when the user is offline. So in happy flow, what happens, users send messages, it will go to exchange, and exchange will send to queue, and as the user 2 is online, it will be directly delivered to user 2. So this is happy flow. Next we'll see what happens when user 2 is offline. The message will be sent to exchange, then exchange will send to the queue. As the user 2 is offline, this message will sit in queue. Okay, consider next message he'll send, message 2, it will come to exchange and then it will come to queue. Still user 2 is offline, then it will come and sit in queue. Same way message 3, it will come to exchange and it will come to queue, and still user 2 is offline, then this will stay in queue. Notice that here user 1 is sending messages to user 2, so it is not worrying about whether that message is delivered or not and all. Okay, now when the user 2 comes back online, then what happens, these messages will be delivered to the user 2 in a first in first out order. Okay, so it is the responsibility of the messaging queue to deliver these messages to user 2. In this way, the user 1 is decoupled with user 2. There is no direct coupling between these two. So this is how the messaging queue works. Okay, so there are few advantages. As you can see, there is no fear of delivery failure, as everything is maintained by the messaging queue. The user 1 need not have to worry about delivery failure. Everything will be taken care by messaging queue. You can ask, what if messaging queue itself is down? So there are different ways you can maintain this messaging queue. So we'll see that in later tutorials. Another thing is, the user 1 need not have to wait for user 2 to send back the response. He can keep on sending the messages so that he is confident that messaging queue will be delivering those messages when the user 2 is back online, or if he is online, it will be directly delivered to user 2. Okay, these are all the advantages of using messaging queue. So now we'll see what are all the different messaging brokers. As I said, there are different implementations of messaging queue concepts. One of them is RabbitMQ, and which is written in Erlang and which is most popular as of now. Kafka, which is written in Java and which is designed by LinkedIn and which is under the Apache license. And third thing is, ActiveMQ, which is written in Java, and Kestrel, which is written in Scala. So as of now today, we'll see what is RabbitMQ and what are all the mechanisms present in RabbitMQ. Now we'll see what is RabbitMQ. RabbitMQ basically is a messaging broker and an intermediary for messaging. It gives your application common platform for send and receive messages. RabbitMQ basically is a software which is developed on this messaging queue concept. Okay, now we'll see what is Exchange. Basically, Exchange is an engine which is responsible for routing messages to different queues. For example, here there is a message sender and there are different users. Okay, for example, user 1 is associated with sports news group. Consider in WhatsApp, user 1 is in the sports news group, and as well as user 2 in Hollywood news group, and user 3 is in Bollywood filmy group. Okay, Hollywood filmy group and Bollywood filmy group. So what I have done is, I have defined separate queues for each group. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is sports news group has its own queue, SNG queue. Hollywood filmy group has its own queue, HFG queue, and Bollywood filmy group has its own queue, BFG queue. Okay, I've defined three different queues for three different groups. Okay, so what are all the messages sent to this particular group will be delivered through this queue. Okay, so basically what happens is, if this message sender wants to send message to sports news group, then if exchanges are not there, consider there is no exchanges in between, then user have to find out which queue he has to forward, which means this finding out which queue it has to forward and route that particular message to sports news group. So basically it is an overhead on the one microservice to find out the routing path to second microservice which uses this particular queue. So what they have done is they have introduced exchanges in between which will take care of routing these messages to particular queue. Okay, next thing what we'll see is different types of exchanges. Okay, direct exchanges. Basically direct exchanges, you can think of one-to-one mapping, which means, for example, user 1 sends messages to RabbitMQ, so exchange will receive this message along with the routing key. Sorry, I have not explained what is routing key. Basically routing key is kind of a unique key for this particular queue. For example, for SNG queue, s.n.gq.rk is routing key. In the same way, HFG queue, this is the routing key, and in the same way, BFG queue, this is the routing key. Okay, so when user is sending the message to RabbitMQ, what he'll do, he'll send the routing key along with it. So what happens, exchange will see what is the routing key. So routing key is s.gq. Sorry, I forgot. This should be s.n.gq.rk, which says this is the routing key. So it will find out here this is the routing key which matches the queue. Then it will deliver these messages to this particular queue, and the same will be delivered to the respective groups. If you want to send message to Hollywood filmy group, then what you have to do, you have to specify this routing key. When the user is sending messages, then he has to specify this particular routing key. Then what happens is it will come to direct exchanges. Then direct exchange will see, or the exchange will see what is the routing key. So this routing key matches this particular queue, then it will be delivered to this queue, and this queue messages will be sent directly to the respective groups. So this is kind of a one-to-one mapping. So what if you want to have one-to-many mapping, which means if you want to send, I'll just clear this, if you want to send messages to all this group, I mean to say one message is there, if you want to send that message to all these groups. So in direct messages, as I said, it is one-to-one. If you have to do it, then you have to do it one by one. First you have to send this, and this will be sent here, and the second you have to send here, and it will be sent if you are using direct exchanges, and the third you'll send here by using the routing key, and then it will be sent here. So this is not working because you have to send many message to different groups. So for that, another exchange is introduced, that is called fan out exchange. Okay, so basically fan out exchanges, you can say one to many or many to many, whatever it is. So basically what happens is it will not consider any routing key. As you can see at the top, a fan out exchange copies and routes a received message to all the queues that were bound to it, regardless of the routing key. As you can see, when we are using fan out exchanges, we will not be using routing keys, because this, when the message reaches the fan out exchange, it will be duplicated and it will be sent to all the queues and its respective groups. So there is no concept of routing key here, because as it is delivered to all the queues, there is no need of routing to specific queue here. That is where fan out exchanges were introduced. So this is fine. We have seen direct exchange. Now we have seen fan out exchange. Now the question is, what if you want to send message to only these two queues? You don't want to send message to the SNG queue, or when I say queue, you have to think of group. Okay, so in this case, what happens, you cannot use direct exchange. If you use the direct exchange, you have to send it separately like this, one after other. You cannot use fan out exchange, because if you use fan out exchanges, it will be sent to this as well along with these two. So to solve this, they have introduced another exchange called topic exchange. So basically what topic exchange does is, the topic exchanges route messages to the queues based on the wildcard matches. This is the key point, wildcard matches. As you can see, for this particular queue I have given star here, and for this particular queue I have given star here. So basically what happens is, when you send a message along with some routing key, it will match the pattern and it will send the messages to particular group. See, as you can see, first we'll see this, will it match with this key? No, because there is no pattern at all. It needs an exact match, so this is not matched, so the message will not be sent here. Okay, second thing we'll see. So first letter before the dot, it will come and see here there is A, which matches with the pattern star, which means anything can come here, so this is matched. And it will second see F, it is also matched, and GQ, it is also matched, and RK, it is also matched. So this topic exchange will deliver the message to this particular queue. Okay, next we have done with this queue, so this is a match, fine. Next we'll see this one. So as you can see, star dot f dot star dot k, there is a pattern match. This will match first one, yes it matches because it is a star. We can pass anything. F matches, yes, second also matches. Third GQ matches, yes matches. Why? Because there is a star. Okay, and the fourth one matches, yes it matches because RK it matches. So this queue is also eligible for receiving a message from topic exchange, so this will be delivered to this. So now these two messages are, these two queues are eligible, so that the message which we have sent will be delivered to these two queues and their respective groups. Okay, so now we'll see, a message will be delivered to topic exchange or exchange along with the routing key or the unique key. So as a pattern which we have defined for the queues matches this routing key, it will be delivered to the respective queues, which will be copied and delivered to the respective queues and the respective groups. This is called topic exchange. Next thing is header exchange. Here basically a header exchange route messages based on the arguments containing the headers, so and option values. So basically what happens is, instead of using routing keys, it uses headers. So header exchanges are very similar to topic exchanges. As I said, topic exchanges use the patterns. It is kind of a similar to that, but route messages based on the header values instead of routing keys. As I said earlier, header exchange will use headers rather than routing key. A message matches if the value of the header equals to value specified upon binding. So basically what happens, as you can see here, this is binding. What it says, if the header value which is sent from the user matches any of the keys mentioned here, then the message will be delivered to respective groups. Okay, so as any is mentioned here, which means or. Okay, so you can consider or. So key 1 value 1 matches with key 1 value 1, or key 1 value 1 matches with key 2 value 2. So basically first one is true, second one is false. As we are using or, this becomes true, so that message will be delivered here. So we'll see the second queue. X matches any, again it is same, it can match anything. So as we have only one key here, so this will not match this key, so even R will be false, so this will not be delivered. Third thing we'll see, as you can see here, X matches all, which means and, we have to do and here. So this matches this, yes it matches, this matches this, sorry this should be right, this matches this, no. So true and false will be false, so that message will not be delivered here. Okay, let's see, move. So the exchange, basically as I said earlier, the responsibility of the exchange is to route the messages based on these matches, bindings, header matching and the routing keys. Okay, so this message will be delivered to particular user. Okay, this is called header exchange. Basic concepts of RabbitMQ and what are all the exchanges in RabbitMQ. In my next tutorial we'll see how to install RabbitMQ, how to use RabbitMQ, and how to use the different exchanges in RabbitMQ by coding, and we'll install it and we'll code in Spring Boot application, and we'll see how each of the exchanges works. So if you like my effort, if you like the video, please share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.